Hello everyone. So happy to go live today with all of you. Hope all of you are feeling good and healthy, all set and energized for our webinar today. Grab yourself a cup of coffee, some chocolates, relax and enjoy our session today. A very warm welcome to the MELTA President, Associate Professor Dr. Ramesh Nair, our honorable speakers, Dr. Honoris Causa Aslam Khan and Dr. Pat Takim, Education Department officers, school leaders, and teachers and all viewers. I would like to take this opportunity to extend our heartfelt gratitude to the Pejabat Menteri Besar of Negeri Sembilan for the support and sponsors. We hope that more support will be given to our future programs as we have planned out quite a number of events with the State English Language Department. Welcome to the fourth webinar for the year, proudly organized by the MELTA Negeri Sembilan chapter. I'm Shamini Siva Vikaraman, representing the MELTA Negeri Sembilan chapter as your moderator for today. One of our main roles as a branch of MELTA is to organize relevant activities to the ESL field for the benefit of our English language educators. We hope that the support we gain and have gained will keep our spirits high into organizing more for all of you. Without further ado, I invite our chapter chair, Dr. Zubaida Bibi Mubarak Ali, to give us a short welcoming note. Hi, Zub.
Thank you, Dr. Shamini. Assalamualaikum and good evening, everyone. I'm so happy that all of you have decided to join us today. We are privileged to have Pak Takim Andriano from Indonesia and Dr. Aslam Khan from Malaysia to share their precious knowledge and thoughts with us today. On behalf of the Negeri Sembilan MELTA chapter, I would like to convey our heartfelt thanks to our Menteri Besar Negeri Sembilan, Yang Amat Berhormat Datuk Seri Haji Amanuddin bin Harun for the continuous support. A note of thanks also goes to the MELTA organization, Dr. Ramesh and the team, and everyone else in MELTA who have always supported us in bringing good webinars and events for our teachers. Not forgetting my wonderful committee members who have always given the chapter their full support and commitment to making all the planned events successful. Thank you, friends. So all of you, please stay tuned for more webinars and events from Negeri Sembilan chapter. And for today's webinar, if there are any questions, please post them in the comment section and we will try to address them at the end of the session. Once again, I'm so glad to have all of you with us today. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. Thank you, thank you. Please sit back, relax, and let us hear it from our speakers. Over to you, Dr. Shamini.
Thank you, Dr. Zhu, for the heartwarming welcoming speech. It's a pleasure always to have you with us, and thank you for guiding us and helping us with everything that you can until today to make this webinar happen as well. Okay. Before we begin today's webinar, please spare me a few minutes to make a few important announcements before we move on with our program proper for the day. Today's webinar will be conducted in two parts. We shall begin with our TESL in the pandemic era webinar first, and then followed by a Q&A session. Before we start, here are some gentle reminders for you, especially teachers, Please use a stable internet connection for optimum viewing. Secondly, since this is a live video on YouTube and Facebook, viewers can post your questions in the comment section in your YouTube screen or your Facebook screen. The Q&A session will be opened after the presentation session ends. For the Q&A session later, if you have any questions for the speakers, please type in your question in the comment section in either your YouTube or Facebook live video. For today, we will be accepting 4 lucky viewers to share their questions with our speakers today live. 4 lucky winners, yeah? Therefore, I kindly request viewers to post your questions or comments with your full name in order for us to call out your name, and then you can post the question to whichever speaker that you are interested in asking your question to. This comment section is located at the bottom of your screen, yeah? So if you have any questions or anything you'd like to share about the topic, do hit the comment button and type away. All right? All right, without further ado, we will move on to today's program proper. First, we have Dr. Takim Andriano. He prefers to be referred as Pak Takim. We all call him Pak Takim only. Okay. Pak Takim Andriano obtained his bachelor degree in engineering from the Petra Christian University, Surabaya, Indonesia. He obtained his master's degree from the University of Canterbury, New Zealand. He was awarded the Doctor of Philosophy by the University of Canterbury, New Zealand in 1990. He was then appointed the senior lecturer at Masters in School Management Program, Krida Wacana Christian University, Jakarta, since 2009 up to present. Having the experience of teaching for different generation of students from old school to new school to the digital school, Pak Takim has got a lot to share on how teachers need to evolve, not only in their teaching styles or approaches, but most importantly, their mindset. He's going to start today's webinar by how teachers are going to actually shift their mindset from a fixed mindset, which all the while we were all thinking that having a fixed mindset was going to be the best. But now there's something different. Patakem is going to talk to us today about the growth mindset. He's here to share with us how teachers can have a growth mindset and carry out their professional development, making effective use of the available digital technology. Let's welcome Pak Takim. The floor is yours, Pak.
Thank you, Dr. Shamini. And good evening, brothers and sisters, wherever you are. And it's really my privilege and an honor to be able to share with you this evening about growth mindset and professional development. So allow me to share with you how growth mindset and professional development of 21st century teachers really important aspect for all of us as educators. Now, let me share with you the thoughts of these two authors. The first one is Dr. Carol Dweck from Stanford University. Her famous book about mindset, changing the way you think to really fulfill your potential. And the other one is about becoming a growth mindset school. Brothers and sisters, allow me to explain to you about two types of people. The first one having a fixed mindset or tend to have fixed mindset, and the other one, of course, embracing or having growth mindset. Let us see several aspects here. If we have a challenge, for instance, or facing a risk, how we respond to challenge or risk will really differentiate us of having a fixed mindset or a growth mindset. If we see a challenge as a threat and we fear of failure, then we tend to have a fixed mindset. We enjoy our comfort zone. But if we see it as an opportunity to develop ourselves and willing to learn, then we tend to have a growth mindset. And nowadays, it's very important to have a growth mindset because challenges are really coming to us. So many disruptions and so on. And how we see effort. People with fixed mindset tend to see effort as meaningless. Well, I was born like this, so why should I try? Either I feel that I'm smart enough, or maybe I see that somehow I'm hopeless. That's a fixed mindset person. But if we tend to have a growth mindset, by the way, we can also grow our growth mindset or develop our growth mindset, then we have to train ourselves that we would try our best to succeed. We would like to push ourselves, put an effort to do it. And then if we see critics or feedback and we see it as a personal attack on ourselves, then we tend to have a fixed mindset. But if we see critics, even though it's maybe somehow it's a bit mean, but we see it as useful for our improvement. Yeah, that's we tend to have a growth mindset. And if we see success of others, yeah, that will differentiate how we respond. If we envy his or her success, then we have a fixed mindset. So if we are a leader, so be careful because we tend to uh, envy our own subordinates or our own teachers, for instance, if we are a school principal. But if we see this as an inspiration and we think that I would like to learn the way he or she could do it, then we have a growth mindset. Okay. Now, brothers and sisters, we know that we now live in a exponential change era, the era of knowledge. Somehow we see around ourselves artificial intelligence, Internet of Things, robots, blockchain, quantum computing, and so forth. And relating to our profession as educators, especially if you are English language teacher, then somehow there is a artificial intelligence ready to translate what we speak to others in different languages. So are we going to stop to be a language teacher? Of course not. In a few moments, I would like to share with you that we have to embrace growth mindset. We don't need to be discouraged to see all this development of technology. Okay. Now, as a teacher, we are part of a school, or maybe we are part of a university or an organization. Let us see this model. This is a business model canvas. Within one page, the author will display to us easily that we can see our customer segments, which is now definitely totally different from our previous 20 or 30 years ago. Now we are facing or serving the generation of Z, and Generation Alpha. Their parents are also different, Generation X and Y perhaps. And of course, we would like to provide a value proposition of our school or our services. And to reach our customer, we have the channel. This is how we deliver learning. But it's already disrupted at this moment because of the pandemic, COVID-19. And we have to also to change our customer relationship. Okay, that's the problem. If we could not do this, then there will be problems of our school, the revenue streams will be disrupted too, and so on. Okay, now, because of the pandemic of COVID-19, our common practice that we can see our students face to face, same time, same place, what we call it as synchronous. We are in the comfort zone for so many years with this mode of teaching and learning. But now, because of the pandemic, it's really forced us to change our way of delivering our materials to serve our customers, in this case, our students. Not always we can do it synchronous, definitely same time, but like this, we are in different places. We call it as remote learning. But of course, we cannot use screen time all the time. So we need to also combine what we call it as blended learning. So we prepare some materials for our students so that they can learn before they meet us. So we somehow combine the synchronous and asynchronous, different time, different place. So this are our practices nowadays because of this COVID-19. Right. Now, looking back at this model, somehow we see that here we can see that teachers as key resources will determine the value proposition of our school or university, and directly or indirectly through key activities, of course. So that's why it's very important to make ourselves to be up to date, and we have to have a continuous professional development because the world keep changing, especially due to the technological developments. Okay. Now, looking at the model that developed by Clickman, Leadership for Learning, how to help teachers succeed, we can see in this matrix, of course, we hope that we can be professionals, meaning that we have a high level of commitment and also high level of abstraction, or in other words, we have a high level of competence. If we are a leader, we hope that our teachers, our subordinates are also in this quadrant. We call it as quadrant 4. But unfortunately, we are not always in this quadrant. Sometimes we slip because of changing of commitment. So by the way, it's not so easy to be always having a growth mindset. In certain areas, perhaps we can somehow slip away, having fixed mindset. We are afraid of this and that, but somehow we have to keep put an effort of ourselves to make sure that we embrace growth mindset. If we are slipping away, normally new teachers are in this quadrant 2. high level of commitment, but may somehow uh, low level of competence. But it's easy. Training, and if we are lucky, we have a good coach, then it's easy to move up. But the problem is with commitment. If we have lack of commitment, then we need to find a good mentor, or we have to be aware of our problems, why we are lack of commitment. Then we somehow stop our tendency of having fixed mindset, because fixed mindset means that we somehow trap, we cannot move. Okay, so we need to change that mindset. We develop growth mindset, hoping that we are not in quadrant 3 or maybe quadrant 1, this helpless, right? Teacher dropouts. Right. Now, professional development for 21st century teachers, we cannot only focus on the pedagogical side or content knowledge, but somehow we have to combine with the technology, these two with the technology. We call it as TPEC, technological pedagogical content knowledge. Technology itself is useful, but if we only focus on technology, somehow we cannot uh, help our students with the contextual pedagogy and content. So somehow we have to combine it all, these three together, so that we can have a effective teaching and learning. Okay, so first of all, we have to make ourselves ready for professional development at all times. Okay, embracing growth mindset means that we will say to ourselves, I can get smarter. It means that I have a learning goal. Learning even is my goal, and then effort makes me stronger, and I would spend more time and work harder. But are we going to achieve our goal and become having a higher achievement and stop to that point? Of course not. We have to make sure that student learning is our focus, because we serve our students, we prepare our young generation. Okay. Now, I would say that our attitude determines our altitude. If we only look at the student learning, which is good, but somehow if we can see that our students can have a better communication, especially later in their careers, better understanding, yeah, because they need to keep learning. Reskilling and upskilling becomes very popular, and we have to make sure that we also part of the whole society to create better world, having a better communication and better understanding as language teachers, right? Okay, so now, using blended mode professional development, we don't need to wait for uh, webinars only, or maybe face-to-face seminars, but somehow we can learn by ourselves. It means that we need to have the right mental models, a growth mindset, combined with personal mastery. Personal mastery means even if there is no pay increase, if there is no one give us 2 thumbs up, but we would like to keep learning. And if we can have a team learning, meaning that we have a small group that we can learn together, wow, it really helps, yeah, because iron sharp, we sharp other irons, yeah. Okay, so that's basically what I would like to share with you. Thank you, Dr. Samini.
Thank you, Pak Takim. Okay, after listening to Pak Takim, it's now a choice: fixed mindset or growth mindset. Teachers, you decide. It all falls back to our attitude, which determines our altitude. I really like that quote by Pak Takim. Are we going to sit and assume that things are going to go back to where it was? Chalk and talk, old age, traditional teaching methods, or rather move along the flow, adjust, adapt, and adopt to new approaches and methods in handling the way we teach presently and believe that this is going to be the future. Okay, viewers, this is the survey link, if you can see below my face there, down. The survey link and the QR code for all of you to fill up. Please click on the link to proceed. This will ensure that you receive an e-cert of participation for today's webinar. Okay, without further ado, our second speaker for the day is none other than our dearest Dr. Aslam, a popular figure among English educators and MELTA as well. Dr. Aslam is currently the Senior Lecturer Consultant and Executive Vice Chairman at American Education Group. He was awarded the Doctor of Excellence, Dr. Honoris Causa in English Language Education and 21st Century Education. He started his professional career as an English language teacher in a secondary school in Kuala Lumpur. He has served as a teacher trainer in two teacher training institutions in Malaysia, namely IPGKIK and IPGKBA. In 2008, he was awarded the title Excellent Senior Lecturer. He was the Vice Chair and Coordinator of the Malaysian Technical Cooperation Program, MTCP, for 15 years, training educators from more than 90 countries. And MELTA will not forget having him as the Vice President for more than 23 years in the past. So without wasting much of our Friday evening, I call upon Dr. Aslam to share and enlighten us on the topic today. He will share with us the shift in the education landscape in the new norm, some key challenges, solutions, and some suggested pedagogical approaches for classroom best practices. The floor is yours.
Yeah.
Hi,
Thank you very
sir.
much. Hi.
Hi.
Very good evening from Kuala Lumpur. Uh, Thank
Not
you
that
so
far.
much, Dr. Shamini, for inviting me. Yeah.
Sure, sure.
I think there are lots of participants from other countries, so I wouldn't say only good evening. It might
Good
be good
evening.
morning or good
Yeah.
afternoon to some of them. All right, thank you so much. Well, yeah, it's a great pleasure to be here today, and just to share with all of you a little bit of my experience regarding English language education in this pandemic era. And please sit back, relax, and if there's any questions that you want to ask, please feel free. Yeah, we are all together in this situation, and whatever that I share and you share, we put it together for our best practices in the classroom. Okay, now it's very clear, right? You can see my slides, yeah? Yeah, is my slides okay?
Yeah, your slides are fine.
Yeah,
Yeah, we can see your slides, sir.
yeah, okay. All right, what is in store? All right, revisiting and internalizing some underlying educational theories and concepts, understanding the new normal, challenges, idealism versus realism. I mean, the policies, the shift in education landscape, and also a suggested practical and contextualized solutions. All right. Now, this is the aspect of education that doesn't change at all. This is what we are doing. Wherever you are, how you want to do in anything that you want to do, in teaching, in education, we are basically teaching learners how to live extraordinary lives. So if we understand our objective of teaching, that is to change our learners to live extraordinary lives, then I think we will do whatever we can to ensure that this happens. Okay, let's revisit and internalize some of the theories and concepts, because theories and concepts are very crucial. It's all based on research. Yeah, so everyone in the English language education fraternity, they are all working on the X factor that will provide solutions to teaching and learning. So research is the key point. Now, we understand all this, all right? I'm just trying to bring you to this aspect and trying to, reflect on some of these theories that we need to internalize, review, and then we reset the pedagogical button, okay, for us when we enter a class or when we are doing any teaching, learning, or training. We understand that we have based it on concepts and theories. All right? And if you look at Education 4.0, these trends, these 9 trends, have been put into practice even before the pandemic. I think all of you may agree. But I want to bring your attention to the 4 trends which I have highlighted: diverse time and place, personalized learning, exams will change completely, mentoring will become more important. All right? So if we understand these 4 trends which I've highlighted, then I think we are there to put into practice, all right, to put into practice a very conducive pedagogical approach. Now the conventions. Now these conventions, yeah, look at all these images before the new normal. And when we come into the new normal, we are embracing something different, a previously unfamiliar or atypical situation that has become standard, usual, or expected. So this is one of the definitions of the new normal. And these images are very familiar now. Very, very familiar now. But when we get into the new normal, we are faced with challenges. I wouldn't say problems. Okay? If I say problems, then it's a bit more burdensome. But I would say challenges, because we as practitioners will always rise to the occasion to face these challenges. So these are the 9 challenges that I put together. The first challenge is adaptability. The struggle is there. Compatibility, encouraging collaboration, loneliness. You see, as practitioners, we have to adapt to the new normal in all aspects. So there will be times that we find that we are struggling. And sometimes you have to be fighting a lonely battle. So that's one challenge. The second one, technical issues, connectivity and availability. We have issues regarding connectivity and availability. All right? You'll be there. And then we talk about time management and staying connected. Okay? What about the the time management for us practitioners and also the learners? And are they able to stay connected? Let's say if it is 1 hour or 2 hours. All right? What about the socio-economic factor in terms of affordability? Do we have enough technical gadgets, or we say technical support in each family? If there are 5 school-going children, do we have enough for all the children? All right? So I'm bringing you into this journey first. Then what about computer literacy, digital competence, lacking of technical skills? This can apply both to the teachers or the practitioners and also the learners. What about motivation? Because students will be sitting in front of their laptops or their phones, smartphones, or tablets. You know what I mean? How are we going to ensure that some of these students who are naturally passive, are they able to change and pay attention? What about assessment? What about the heavy load of the teachers? Okay? And also the teachers' competence. And what about training? And of course, the human factors. Okay, the human factors. One of the factors, confidence. If a child falls behind, or a learner falls behind, he may lose confidence and drop out. So these are key challenges. There are other challenges, but I've put these 9 key challenges. So what should we do? Therefore, there must be a shift in the education landscape. Let's look at some of the suggested shifts. Now, a practical shift. We need to understand the curriculum and the syllabus, the priority here. Okay, maybe we have to look at more focused components. Okay, more focused components or subject areas. Are we going to do 12, 13 components or subject areas? Or are we going to prioritize the curriculum and syllabus according to the current situation? Then what about the resources support? So we need to understand this for teachers and learners. All right? Pedagogical perspectives, mode of delivery, learner autonomy, contextualize learning and teaching. So you can teach the same topic, maybe in one city to another city, but you need to contextualize it according to the needs of your learners. Centralized versus decentralized, remedial programs, empowerment. What about CPD? Training, including establishing professional network. This is crucial. I like this line. I think all of you who are football fans of Liverpool, you will see this. You'll never walk alone. I think I like this line. Okay, as English language education practitioners, we must never, or we should never, walk alone. We must have the professional network. We need to have a team. We need to work together to come up with practical, beneficial solutions for all of us. Then we talk about connectivity, the internet. What about in places where connectivity is an issue? All right? Community involvement. So where we have the private, public collaboration, we talk about having the community where the school is to work with so that we can provide solutions, all right, in many aspects. So the involvement of the community. If, let's say, there are students who are lacking in resources at home, maybe the community can come together and set up a venue, maybe in a community hall, where students are brought in following all the standard operation procedures, okay? And then lessons can be conducted. All right? What about the socioeconomic status and the assistance provided for at-risk learners? We don't want students to just leave or drop out. Then we have a shift, a practical shift in the governance and the policies, where the Ministry of Education or district education department, all right, they need to understand also, yeah. And last but not least, be that reflective practitioner. We have to be that reflective practitioner every time. So this is a practical shift. All right? And let's move on to another aspect. Now look here. This is a key find, these are key findings by UNESCO. There are 5 things that a government must do once a holistic vision has been crafted that is committed to using digital technologies to create a resilient education system that provides education and learning for all. So this is very crucial too. All right? Look at this. Create a whole society approach that delivers equity in education. And then the access to digital technologies. Be context specific at all times. Ensure the appropriate pedagogies are used. And then use digital technologies wisely and safely. Now, these are all the shift, okay? All the types of shift that we have to really review, work on it, and then reset our practicing button. And then we have the shift in learning, the 7 most powerful idea shifts in learning today. Look at the 7, from physical to digital, from standards to habits, from compliance to play, from schools to communities, from reaction to interaction, from isolation to connectivism, and from privacy to transparent. So you see, we are all looking at this kind of shifts that we have to adhere to. And this is a suggestion by an associate professor. He says, plan and organize thoughtfully, clarify purpose, norms, and expectation, build community through faculty-student and student-student interaction, use technology, but be careful of going aboard. Now, the word technology here, why did he say use technology and be careful of going aboard? Because we must always understand that technology is our servant. Technology is not to be our master. All right? So technology is our servant. So we are the master of how to use technology in the best possible ways. Now look at his very interesting quote. The COVID-19 pandemic has many of us teaching in unfamiliar situations. Perhaps a silver lining has been the widespread practice of synchronous instruction, a potential remedy for the connection students and faculty often miss in traditional online classes. The exponential growth of synchronous sessions will likely shape a new normal for online learning long after the pandemic has passed. This is a very interesting quote. I think we should internalize this quote and remember always. Yeah? And remember, technology is a tool. All right? Technology is a tool that should be doing all of this for us. So we are the master, technology is our servant. So the new normal, even in assessment, you want to change. We would have, if you want to standardize assessment using technology, it can be done. All right? It can be done. All right? It can be done. Okay, let's look at the pedagogical implication in these shifts that we have talked about just now. Contextualize and personalize your pedagogical shift. Now, the word is always contextualize, 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 because different places, different set of students, and we may teach the same topic, the same theme, but our pedagogical approach may differ according to the learners, according to the resources, according to the policies, and so on. So we can go to flipped classroom. All right? Looking at the pedagogical implication from traditional to flip. We can do blended learning. However, we must understand that the 5E instructional model is something that we can put into practice. All right, engage, explore, explain, elaborate, evaluate. These are all the underlying or underpinning elements in pedagogy. So I have a suggestion for teaching methodology using my name, Aslam, the acronym or mnemonic, some of you will say. So I would like to share this with you. A, Aslam for activate, share, learn, apply, and move. What do you mean by activate, share, learn, apply, and move? So this is basically what I'm talking about. Now we have face-to-face, but now we are not doing face-to-face. It's remote learning, or you say we are all doing online. We are not facing all our students. It's all individually. through technology. So A, we activate. All right, we activate. So in the face-to-face, we say set induction, but now we activate. And then we share. In face-to-face, we may say presentation and practice. And then development and production in face-to-face. So we use learn. And then homework practice. But now it's no more taking it home. Now we do everything online, apply. And then the conclusion. And what's next in face-to-face? So we say move. Now, if we can have this, now I'm giving you a suggested online teaching methodology. However, you can come up with your own. All right? This is just a suggestion. But always remember, whether you're doing face-to-face or online, teachers' talking time is to be reduced and students' involvement is to be prioritized for maximum learning to take place. Okay, if you want to go into details about what you need to prepare, so you can basically come up with a practical approach. You put your theme, your topic and content, and then you put your instruction or procedure or activities, and then you base it on underlying principles and beliefs. Then you put the outcome and remarks. All right? So come up with something like this, contextualize it according to your learners. All right? Based on all the earlier theories or concepts or researches done, apply all these elements and then come up with a practical approach, and then you can have the methodology going in your class. Because to be honest, you know your learners better. For example, I may use the conventional grammar drills, but I'm going to do it through a song, in the present tense and past tense. See the lines that I have, the lines that I've underlined. Those are past tense. And this is a drill, a meaningful drill. And you can do it online. All right? And students will be very happy to do it. Maybe they can do it, using whatever, apps they have on their phone or in their, in their laptops or computers or whatever, they have. All right? So, a pertinent point to note and ponder. Contextualize and justify your selection of all the mentioned tasks or activities based on your learners' language competence, maturity, learning styles, acceptance, socioeconomic status, syllabus or curriculum requirements, availability of resources, and other factors which, to your knowledge, will affect learning. Being the practitioner, you know best of the content and pedagogical needs of your learners. So as a conclusion, it's not just about online learning. So pedagogically, in the new normal, it's not just about online learning. Now you see, it says here, Maslow before Bloom should be the new battle cry in education. Bloom is cognitive. Maslow is more of using the humanistic approach. All right? So look at this. Okay? A reflection. It's not just about online learning. These are the elements that we need to understand. All right? So there are 9 elements here. So, ladies and gentlemen, esteemed practitioners out there, we need to understand all these elements, translate all this into your classroom practices, and then you will have the best practices in your own context. So this is the difference between Bloom's taxonomy and Maslow's hierarchy of needs. All right? So we need to understand whether we are focusing on just cognitive or the other factors which are affecting the learners. So food for thought. Are there opportunities granted to us in this new normal? Answer is yes. It provides us with opportunities regarding research innovations, technological innovations, and socio-economic interventions. And the keyword in the new normal, contextualization. Just contextualize your learning and teaching according to the needs of your learners based on the resources available. One hat doesn't fit all. All right. So before I say thank you, these are the questions, pertinent questions, which I have created for all of you to reflect. All right. The 10 pertinent questions that all of you can reflect, you can answer, and then make it into a great research work, and then publish it and share with us. So remember that we are all in it together. You'll never walk alone. We are all in it together. Let's share our findings so that everyone can have a beneficial or insightful experience. So with that, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much.
Thank you for the insightful speech and input on our topic today, Dr. Aslam. I think before we continue, I would like to remind you that your screen, this is an informal remark, your screen is like more than your, can you just adjust your screen a bit? And we can see you, yeah, your screen. You can just push the screen down and we can see your face a bit more clearer.
Okay?
Yeah, now it's nice.
Okay.
And before we move on, I must say that I'm a Liverpool fan too. So I'm going to say this aloud. YNWA, you'll never walk alone.
Yes. Excellent.
And we had so many of them commenting YNWA, YNWA. Okay. So, okay, it's almost a year plus now that the entire world is facing this pandemic. And yeah, like what you mentioned, that it's not online learning or teaching per se in the new norm. There is personal pedagogical interest, passion, and effort to tackle each and every issue that we come along with as a teacher. And I believe for that, all of us really do need support. Despite the overwhelming consequences of the situation, this global crisis has also been an extraordinary time for learning and testing our strength in every role we play, not just a teacher, but the entire education system, the stakeholders. We are learning how adaptable and resilient educational systems, policymakers, teachers, students, and families can be, especially now that we are in the third stage of the pandemic. And when we stream down to teachers and educators, we are more often than not having to answer various stakeholders with so many questions. Even the SPM results, even if we do well, people are questioning us. Even if we don't do well, people are questioning us. Situation demands just too much of support. If not, we are just going to go haywire. Some wonder whether the adoption of online teaching and learning will go on to persist in the post-virus era, and how such a change would affect the language teaching industry globally. The pandemic has pushed the language teaching industry across the world to find alternatives to in-person instruction or face-to-face or traditional classroom teaching. but consequently online education has also been used by teachers and students on an unprecedented scale, no doubt to it. So I believe that this sharing session is going to guide all the teachers and educators here today to plan our teachings, um, to get our students motivated, make sure the teaching and learning takes place effectively in the new norm, and in future, it's just going to be new and new and new and new, right? So let's put our mind to it, from the fixed mindset, push ourselves to the growth mindset, and keep motivating each other, and remember that you will never walk alone, right? Okay, so without any delay, we shall now continue the webinar with our Q&A session. Are you ready? We came up with a few questions, but I need to remind everyone that maximum I can probably select about 5 to 6 questions. I will go with 4 first. If we have enough time, then I will post the 5th and the 6th question, because I did promise 4 lucky viewers will be coming on air to share their questions. But we did get a few other questions along the way, which was, quite good to be discussed tonight. So, are you ready? The first question, we have Amira. Zamira? Hi, Amira.
Hi everyone.
Hi, would you like to post your question to you choose? You choose who you
Okay,
want to
thank
ask the
you.
question to.
Thank you. Okay, I'm Amira from Selangor. I'd like to pose a question to Pak Takim. I guess this one is related to fixed and growth mindset. I'd like to know why certain teachers they stop improving and innovating beyond their successful first few years of their career.
Yes, thank you for a very relevant question relating to growth mindset and fixed mindset.
Yes.
Um, the most important aspect that we need to know, in the beginning, we are very committed normally. But somehow, after we reach some successes, then we feel that we are fine. We will be in a kind of comfort zone. That's the danger. That's the problem too. Yeah, once we feel we enjoy our condition, that we are fine, then the problem will come, because the world is keep changing. As Dr. Aslam uh, mentioned, so many factors that we need to uh, adjust ourselves, and we have to adapt, right? Now, uh, if we feel that we are in a comfort zone, then we somehow embrace a fixed mindset. We are smart enough, we are a successful teacher. Why should we put an extra effort to do our keep up with our professional development? Meanwhile, we face the next generation of students that they demand different things compared to their previous generation. We also have to face the development of technology, for instance, and we will become an old-fashioned teacher. Yeah. So my keyword is comfort zone. So let's we have to move on, and we have to leave our comfort zone. We have to take the challenge as an opportunity to learn. Hopefully, I answer your question.
Is that okay, Amira? Are you
Yes,
happy
very
with the?
clear.
Yeah, so they're all in their comfort zone.
Thank you, Dr. Takim.
Okay, we move on to the next question from Ong Yalin. Yalin,
Hi.
can't see
Hello,
you yet.
everyone.
Hi.
Hello. Right.
Yeah.
Hi, my name is Ong Jalin. I'm from SJKC Taman Konot, Cheras, Kuala Lumpur. I'd like to direct my question to Dr. Aslam. Good evening, Dr. Aslam. My question is, from the pedagogical aspect, what should teachers do to improve their teaching quality to ensure learners receive the best from them in this new normal? I mean, our new normal now is actually moving towards to become a normal right now. Thank you, Dr. Aslam.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you for a very interesting question. That is not an easy question to answer. Okay. Now, we are looking at ourselves as teachers, right? Now, we have been trained, all of us. But however, the pandemic struck and all of us were caught off guard and start telling ourselves, hey, now what? Online now. So how are we going to do it? All right. So then the teachers, like what Kubler-Ross, the psychology said, when we were put into this situation, we were totally shocked. All right. And then, but however, we are teachers. You see, one thing good about teachers or practitioners, we never give up. That's why I used the word just now, challenges. I don't say problems. We always say challenges. When you say it's challenges, then you will be always looking for the X factor to overcome. But you say problems, then it gives you a very negative perspective. So what teachers need to do? Quality. Okay, first, like what I mentioned earlier, the shift. We have to tell ourselves, now we have to embrace this new normal. Whether you like it or not, it's going to be staying here for some time. So then we have to tell ourselves, okay, we understand. Remember the 10 pertinent questions that I put at the end of my presentation? We have to answer that. We have to answer that. Have we done the new normal? I think we have certain aspects of it. All right. It's only that now the means or maybe the mode of delivery is not face to face, but it is more on using the digital mode. So we translate, or some will say transfer, whatever we have put into practice, because not everything is obsolete. And then we try to make technology our servant. The pedagogical skills that we have, those are antique, for all of us as teachers. So we keep that. And then we just, bottle it. They say that, you bottle it in a new bottle, but now we are using the pedagogical aspect is digital. And then when it's digital, then what is the best mode of instructions, the instructional language, how do we go about doing it? So this is where, as I say, you never walk alone. You cannot do this alone. It has to be a team effort. That's why I always say that we are all in it together, huh? That's why webinars like this is where we bring ourselves. It's just also to answer the question just now, the motivation level of teachers. They you have to always keep abreast with the latest development and try new things, because you are the teacher. You know your students well. Like what I said just now, you make technology your servant. God willing, inshallah, if you have that, the skills that you have, the resources that you have, the approaches, the methods, the techniques, the strategies that you have learned before, we just need to readjust. This is why I said review it, make adjustment, creative manipulation of the whole thing, then we reset the button. Press it, go. There is no one hat fits all. No one head fits all. So that's why many teachers, when I was doing my presentation in Indonesia, you see, Indonesia is so huge, 14,000 islands. If they're teaching the same topic, if I'm teaching a poem, for example, yeah, he has such quiet eyes. That poem, I think you all know it was taught in Form 4 before.
Yep.
It is by the Indonesian poet. Now, if I'm going to teach that
That's
poet today, that's why just now I showed you in my slide, the practical approach is that poem. I'm going to bring Ed Sheeran into class. Or maybe I bring BTS into class.
Oh.
You know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
Maybe if I'm in the city, I bring this. Maybe if I'm in a rural area where they don't see BTS or Ed Sheeran, then I bring the local, songs or things that they're familiar. So get them interested into it. So our pedagogical approaches need to be contextualized. It's always different. Did I answer the question? Sorry, it was a bit long because I like to tie the whole thing with concepts, with theories, and then who we are, because the whole thing is a big, huge thing. It's not just individual elements. Yeah. I
Yeah.
hope I answered your question. Yeah, Miss Song.
Yes, yes, you answered it beautifully, justified. Thank you very much.
My
I think
pleasure.
basically if you wait and wait and wait for the BPG or the ministry to give you all the resources, keep on waiting lah. Right? Okay, now we have the third question in line. Question comes from Anusuya Nair. Anu, hi.
Hi, hi, I'm Anushya. I'm from Hyderabad. And
Hi, hi.
hi, yeah, I'm making this from my phone actually. So I have a question for Pak. Okay. What is the most effective way to create desire of teachers to pursue continuous professional development?
Okay.
I think it will breaking a bit. Maybe I can repeat the question for the viewers. What is the most effective way to activate the desire of teachers to pursue continuous professional development? Is that the question?
Yeah, that's the
Correct, right? Yeah.
Okay, thank you. I think this is a very important question for all of us, especially as educators. What is the most effective way to activate our desire to be in a continuous professional development? I think number one is sense of purpose. If we don't have a sense of purpose, we don't see the goal beyond ourselves, then we are lack of commitment, right? So it's very important that we can see uh, a vision for our nation, a vision for our next generation. That's why we would like to, even if we sacrifice ourselves, well, actually, we can do it for fun, for learning, but if we can see the vision, then it really helps us to move on and to have a passion for keep learning. And the second one is if somehow we see the vision is so far away, then we have to set some milestones. We have to create small wins. Otherwise, we will be overwhelmed or we will be burned out. We don't see the successes, it's too far away. But if somehow we celebrate the small wins, and it will become a fuel for our spirit, our motivation to move on. So there are two things that become uh, one package. It's number one is the sense of purpose, and the second one is we have to create the milestones or the small wins that will motivate us. Hopefully, I answered the question. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Okay, we have one more question from Izzat Rizwan. Hi, Izzat.
Hi,
Izzat.
hello everyone. Yes.
Hi, Izzat. Yeah.
Hi. Assalamualaikum and good evening to all. So I wanted to ask Dr. Aslam, okay, what initiative can the community provide in assisting schools to ensure that students, especially students from low-income family, and still receive the same desirable level of education in this new norm?
Well, I think this is a $1,000,000 question. All right. I mean, if I were, I'm using the word, if I were the policy maker, if I were to be the policy maker, I will ensure that every child is given equal education in this pandemic, whatever ways. But never mind. Now we are looking at reality. Yeah. The reality is this: the socio-economic factor is also a major challenge. That is one of the challenges that I mentioned earlier, right? So how do we address this? Now, this is where, now, like in Malaysia, okay, I give you an example. You see, some of our members of parliament, to be more exact, members of parliament, they did collect money in the rightful manner, and then they provided, assistance in terms of resources to learners from very, challenging socio-economic status family. Technological support, okay? They need that, all right? Or maybe apart from that, apart from technological or resources, let's say if they still can't, if in a family there are 5 school going children, you cannot have 5 laptops at any time because all of them going to school at the same time, right? Let's say 8
Yes.
o'clock until 1 is the same time. 5 kids, standard 5, standard 6, form 1, form 2, or form 5. So how? So one of the best ways for the community to come in. So this is where I mention again, if you look at the challenges, the shift, the community plays a very important role. Okay, from the YBs, Yang Berhormat, the members of parliament, the Ketua Kampung, the head of the village, maybe the public private partnership, organizations, private organizations. We have to think about something. We have a big hall. We always say Dewan Orang Ramai, right? Which can put in about 500 people. Why not they organize with the help of the school, the community, organize this, put a big screen there. Okay, today, revision for standard 5 students, science or maths. Then we do the, social distancing. You just need a big screen, one teacher, and you can have 100 students there. So the community needs to come in. I'm looking at good governance. Remember, I mentioned in my shift that good governance and people who are given the mandate to assist the citizen, the rakyat. So everyone has to play a role. Let's say your district, maybe if you're from Rumbau, you're a member of parliament, the banks, or any other organizations, the school, all the schools in that district need to come together. All the heads This is not an individual task. All the heads have to come together. All the heads means the head teachers. How? Bring the teachers in. Let's work together. Let's form a formidable team. Let's help our students untuk bangsa, untuk negara, untuk masa depan generasi kita. Everybody has that. That's why I said mindset shift. If all of us have that, God willing, inshallah, we will prevail.
Inshallah.
Did I answer your question?
Yes. Thank you so much for the answer.
My pleasure again.
Dr. Aslam can become politician. Smart. Lah. You have that style.
Menteri besar, ah.
Menteri besar. Okay, I think it's about 9:23. I can actually accept another 2 more questions, but I must admit here that we have almost 8 to 9 questions popping up, including the 4 that we just answered. Okay, I'll accept Cikgu Naga Pillai's question here. His was the 5th question, so I'll just go chronologically to be fair to everyone. His question goes like this. Allow me to read it from my mobile. Can we change others' mindset, especially when we are a leader and we need to handle teachers with mindset which is contradicting to the current situation, or teachers who don't want to change? How are we going to change the mindset as leaders, as
Right. Dr. Aslam, would you like to start first?
how? The question is how. I think your mic is muted.
Mute.
Sorry.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Can you? We are talking about mindset, right?
Yep.
Yes.
How you change mindset of people?
If you are the leader,
Oh.
probably this teacher is middle leader or coach or something.
I think this is. Pak Takim, you want to start first, Pak Takim? I think that's your
Okay.
area. I'll come in later. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, Pak Takim, you go ahead. Yeah.
Yes, thank you. I would like to use the power of praise, because if I give a wrong praise to someone, let's say I praise someone for their smartness rather than their effort, somehow they receive a wrong message. They think they are smart enough, so they don't need to put an effort to change or to adapt to a new situation. But somehow, if I give a praise for his hard work, for instance, the way he tried, even though it's not so easy, then somehow that person or my teacher or my subordinate will receive a strong message that I value the effort. And then secondly, it's very important that I have to spend time to coach and perhaps to mentor them. People with fixed mindset, we cannot give orders. We cannot give just instructions. We need to spend time with them to show them, if you don't change, then somehow you will experience a boiled frog syndrome, right? You feel in your comfort zone, and then suddenly you are boiled already. It's too late. You're dead. So somehow we need to talk to them, spend time, and also give the right praise or critics. Critics, somehow we need to package it somehow, because fixed mindset people will see it as an attack to their personal life or personal esteem, right? So if we have a good relationship with that person, that's very important, then our emotional deposit, I may say it, it's big enough, yeah, so that if I say something that it will somehow touch their heart, or maybe somehow they need to think about it, it's okay, because that person think that, well, he is okay to me, it's not a threat, right? But if I don't have a good relationship, then it will be very, very dangerous. Right, maybe that's my answer. Thank you.
I think yes. I mean we are dealing with human beings. One, all right. We are dealing with professionals. One, all right, and we are all educators. So there must be some social obligation or educational obligation. Now we must understand that. So this is where I think there's certain aspect of the kerohanian, the insight in us, we have to tell ourselves the integrity, the ethics, the professionalism. Now, if you are a teacher and you don't change your mindset and to give the best, I think that's not right. I think professionally, ethically, in terms of integrity, you have flouted this. That's why I always say that, if you want to be a teacher or an educationist, you must understand it's never easy. One of the toughest, or maybe the toughest profession in the world is being an educator or teacher or an education. It's never easy. So we need to have training courses or whatever. We have to deal it individually. There's no right formula for one. So we have to deal according to the needs of that learner to change his or her mindset. But to me, I believe this, I've been in a profession for many, many, many years. Yeah. I was an accidental teacher. I didn't think that I want to be a teacher. It was accidental. But I stayed on and I said, if I were to be the teacher, I need to have my obligations right. Or else I leave.
Yes.
If you can teach well, you stay. If you can't, then it is good for you to just leave and get another profession. Then you do justice to yourself, to the learners, to the profession. So my parting words, if you want to be a teacher or practitioner or educator, you must have the right attitude. The right attitude with passion. You must have passion. The passion will drive you there. The passion will take you through difficult times, through challenges, and you will prevail. The passion must be there. And if you are learning, if you are teaching, if you are sharing, it has to be very sincere. Don't hope for anything in return. Because teaching, you just do it. Just do it. And then the more you get, the more you should share. And this is what I say, humility at the highest level. Be humble. The more you know, you feel that the less you know, and you keep on wanting to learn more. And when you learn something, you share with the others. That's how we will move forward together as one team. And then others will start respecting us. Wow, to be a teacher, we must respect this profession because they are so professional, full of integrity. They have ethics. That's what we are here for.
Yes.
Sorry. The main aspect here is back again to attitude. in this case, I feel like the novice teachers and the ones who are aspiring to become teachers, probably they are the more lucky ones, where they don't have to, they have no choice but to just be adaptable to the new norm and the pandemic, or give a thought to themselves now that if you want to become a teacher, these are the other kind of challenges that you're going to face, not just go into the classroom with your lesson plan and get things done.
Right.
So I have one last question. We're supposed to end our session soon, but this one comes from Uruguay. I'm modifying the question a bit to suit our current, context. Back to normal. The question goes like this. Back to normal, we need to empower the students, colleagues, and other stakeholders. Is this an opportunity to be prepared for a better post-pandemic, better normal? One of the most challenging things is not to lose the students. How can teachers put forward their ideas and thoughts or suggestions on governments so that everyone can have access beyond OLPC programs? Probably this is in Uruguay, but we have other kind of programs in Malaysia as well. So how can we put forward, she used the word pressure there, but I feel probably it's not pressure. What it meant is how can we throw our suggestions or ideas or thoughts across to the government so that everyone can have access beyond the programs. This is from Uruguay, from Miss Gabriela.
May I give a preliminary answer before Dr. Aslam's? Right. It's an excellent question and it's very important. I like Dr. Aslam's what Dr. Aslam said early on, that you are not walking by yourself. You are not walking alone, right? So it's very important that we are together, because if we somehow try for by ourselves, nobody will hear us. But if we somehow organize ourselves in a association, and it's a trustworthy association, and the government will listen to us. I think that's my preliminary answer. Thank you.
Yeah, I think this question is, whether it's top down or bottom up in the system, the governance, top down or bottom up. I'm not sure about Uruguay, yeah, how the system, but I think generally lots of system in the world is top down. You get from the central. So that's why in my notes just now I put the shift is what? From central to decentralization. So this is something that all policymakers, in this sense, the government, they need to understand. We are facing the new normal. And teachers in the classroom, they are the people who are facing the learners. All right? They are facing the learners. So this is where the policymakers, the governing bodies, whoever they are, they need to now listen. Okay? Hear out the plights of those teachers. It has to be decentralized. It has to be bottom up to a certain extent, not top down. All right? Because the teachers have the answers, because they are the one facing the students. They have the real answers. The reality lies in the hand of the teachers. So, I appeal to the governing bodies, the policies there, give an opportunity to the teachers who are classroom practitioners to air, not grouses, to share the solutions, the practical solutions in their context. Then, somehow or other, the change in mindset, the shift, the empowerment can be given to the teachers. I think that will be good. If I were to be the Minister of Education, I want to listen more. I want to listen more. Come on, give me more solutions, realistic solutions.
Throw the
And then,
question to me.
yes, give it to me. Let me get my people. I have experts in the ministry. Those, researchers, they can find the X factor. Everybody wins. Nobody loses. Shouldn't be top down. It can be top down to a certain level, bottom up, meet in the middle, and then find the best solution. I always say that find the X factor that makes teaching and learning fun, interesting. Everybody wins.
The melting point.
It's good.
I
The
hope I
melting
answered.
turning point. Yeah,
Yeah.
very well. Very well. I think if I go on, I have another 5-6 questions and it will not end. Probably we'll have a second webinar on the same topic in the second half of the year. So ladies and gentlemen, we have come to the end of the Q&A session. Thank you again to the panel of speakers for answering the question and giving us your time and your inputs and for joining us today at different time, different locations. We just hope to see you again for more sharing sessions in the future. If we get more sponsors from the Menteri Besar, we will keep on organizing and using StreamYard and going online live for everyone probably every month, but we need sponsors, yes. So this marks the end of our webinar, ladies and gentlemen. Before we end, please remember to access the following link and fill in your details, the survey link. Yeah, it's just below my name there. Please complete the short survey about our program. We need your feedback so that we can improve on our programs in future and what kind of programs that you want us to cater via the MELTA Negeri Sembilan chapter. We sometimes run out of ideas like what we discussed today. If you need us to discuss particular topics, assistance in using digital tools and different kind of CPDs, and pedagogical or instructional or even motivation, please write to us, message us, please subscribe to our YouTube link, please become a member in our Facebook page, join in our future activities, support us more, and of course, if you participate and then you get an e-cert and your mata credit for your SPL, KPM credit hours and so on, yeah, that's your effort, but we need your support, yes. And you will never walk alone. Okay, and finally, please remember that the recording of the entire webinar will be made available on the MELTA NS Chapter YouTube channel and the Facebook page as well. So please share this information with your colleagues, friends, so more people can benefit from the session that we had today. We from the MELTA NS Chapter would like to thank our wonderful guest speakers today. Thank you. And thank you for joining us. We hope that you are able to take away a lot of useful information and new ideas with you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Hope you enjoyed the webinar with us. Have a wonderful weekend. Stay safe. Goodbye and see you all in our next event.